In the stillness before dawn, heaven shimmered with a silence that was not peace, but aftermath. The great throne halls, once filled with songs of light, now echoed with the absence of one who had burned too bright. Lucifer, the morning star, had fallen, leaving a void in the radiant order of heaven. And in that hollow space, the question rose like thunder across the angelic hosts. Who would now stand nearest to the Almighty? The fall had not merely cast out a rebel. It had left an empty place in the hierarchy of light, a seat of celestial authority once woven with brilliance, wisdom, and music. But even in heaven, no throne remains empty for long. Among the countless beings of fire and purity, one presence moved with quiet purpose. His radiance was not the loud blaze of pride, but the steady flame of obedience. His name, spoken with reverence by cherubim and seraphim alike, was Michael. Who is like God? That was his name's meaning, and that question was his nature. When Lucifer fell, the heavens trembled. Stars dimmed, choirs paused. But in the shadow of that fall, Michael's light did not waver. He stood not as one seeking a crown, but as one holding the line of loyalty. But few understood what came next. For as heaven mourned the brilliance lost, it also prepared for the radiance reborn. Authority, once corrupted by pride, would now be guarded by humility. And from the dust of rebellion, a new kind of power began to rise, not a power of command, but of protection. Maybe that is the mystery Scripture leaves for us, the idea that heaven's highest is not the loudest, not the most glorious, but the most faithful. Heaven had never known war until pride was born in the heart of light. When Lucifer's defiance cracked the harmony of eternity, his voice carried like a dark song, sweet, seductive, and proud. 1/3 of the hosts turned their wings away from glory, drawn by the promise of self-exaltation. In the wake of that rebellion, creation trembled. Angels who once sang side by side now stood on opposite sides of a cosmic divide. And at the center of it all, Michael rose. He did not rise out of ambition. He rose out of duty, a word that burns brighter in heaven than power ever could. When the morning star fell, Michael unsheathed his sword, not to claim his place, but to defend the very throne of God. The Scriptures remember that war in few words, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Revelation 12 verse 7. But those words contain an ocean of meaning. Imagine it. Light clashing against light, harmony turned into storm, love turned into fury. No human eye could endure that sight. The ancient radiance of Lucifer burned red with vengeance, while Michael's light blazed white with justice. Their collision shook the boundaries between eternity and time itself. And when the last echo of rebellion fell silent, the heavens were not the same. The place once held by the most beautiful of angels now stood empty, untouchable, sacred. Yet something unspoken happened in the silence that followed. Heaven did not crown a new ruler. It honored a new guardian. Michael had not taken Lucifer's throne. He had redeemed its meaning. From then on, the highest among the angels would not be the most radiant, but the most obedient. The one who asked, "Who is like God?" would forever stand as heaven's answer to pride. But even this victory carried a shadow. For the fall of one did not end the war, it merely changed its battlefield. The serpent, cast down to the earth, still whispered among men, still sought to raise his counterfeit thrones in human hearts. And Michael, once the defender of heaven, would now become the unseen protector of earth. In the ages that followed the Great Rebellion, heaven grew quiet again. But beneath that silence, purpose moved like a living current. On the earth below, humanity took its first trembling steps. The breath of God lived in their lungs, and the light of his image burned in their souls. But the shadow of the dragon was never far. He waited, cunning, patient, whispering the same lie that had once turned angels into exiles. You can be like God, and every time that lie rose from the dust, Michael stood watch. He was not a distant figure of myth. He was the warrior flame guarding creation from the echoes of pride. Scripture never describes him as seated upon a throne. Instead, it shows him descending, again and again, in moments of battle, judgment, and deliverance. He stands beside Joshua, sword drawn. He contends for the body of Moses. He leads the hosts of heaven in revelation. Each time he does not speak of himself, he speaks for God. That is his power, the power of perfect representation, not replacement. But few understood what came next. As Lucifer's kingdom of lies grew in the hearts of men, Michael's mission deepened. The battle was no longer over positions in heaven, it was over souls on earth. Every act of rebellion below echoed the ancient war above. Every act of humility echoed Michael's eternal answer, "Who is like God?" And here lies the revelation hidden within the question. When heaven chose its new highest, it did not raise another to sit where pride had fallen. Instead, it exalted a principle, faithfulness, embodied by one who served without seeking glory. Michael became the mirror opposite of Lucifer. Lucifer exalted himself and fell. Michael humbled himself and was exalted. It was not a change of rank, it was a change of order. Heaven itself redefined greatness. In place of brilliance, obedience. In place of ambition, reverence. In place of self-worship, surrender. And that truth radiated through eternity like a song restored. Maybe it whispers something to us, too, that the true highest place is not on a throne, but on a knee. As ages turned and stars wheeled across the tapestry of time, the echoes of that first rebellion faded into myth for men, but not for heaven. Even now, beyond sight and sound, the struggle continues. The hosts of light stand watch, their leader unwavering, his flame unextinguished. Michael, the Archangel, heaven's shield, does not sit upon Lucifer's former throne. He stands before the throne of God. His glory is not inherited from the fallen, but bestowed by the eternal. His greatness is not measured by command, but by constancy. Where Lucifer said, "I will ascend," Michael lives, who is like God. And perhaps that is the secret hidden within Scripture, the mystery we are meant to find, not by study, but by reflection. That heaven's order was never built upon rank, but upon relationship, love that bows, not boasts. The highest angel is not the one who shines most brightly, but the one whose light reflects, not replaces, the source. From the first rebellion to the final revelation, that truth remains unchanged. When pride falls, humility rises. When self is silenced, God is heard. When one star fades, another dawns, quieter, purer, steadfast. And maybe that's the real war, not between angels and demons, but between pride and surrender. Maybe, even now, heaven still waits for that same question to echo through every heart. Who is like God? In the end, the story of Lucifer's fall and Michael's rise is not about power lost or gained. It is about what endures. For even when the brightest light falls, the purest flame still stands, and it whispers through eternity. Faith is higher than glory.